So, good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss Selenium Java course. We are going to start from today. So, it's a demo class. So, as part of the demo class, we are going to discuss what is the course content which we are going to discuss in the course. So, here is the course content. So, basically, first we will discuss about this Selenium Java basics. First, we will discuss. This is the Java syllabus which we are going to discuss in our class. So, installation part and basics of Java programming, OOPS concepts, class, object, and constructor polymorphism. These are the different topics which are available in Java. So these we are going to discuss, and I'll also provide a assignment regarding this. We'll discuss all the programming, like programming concepts, how from the scratch we will develop everything. Like so, we should have a system requirements like a normal Windows system or Apple system, any system which will be installed in the Java it should be installed on that machine, and Eclipse should be available. Like Eclipse is an integrated IDE development environment, so it's an IDE. So generally we will use for the software development purpose that Eclipse or else IntelliJ IDE. So this is for software development purpose. We will use these IDEs. Okay. So those things we require. These are the core topics which we are going to discuss, like abstraction, encapsulation, interfaces. Like so, I'm just giving a brief topics. Like what are the topics we are going to discuss? Those things I'm just giving a demo. Like so, internally we will discuss every topic every day, one topic, and regarding the and we'll discuss one program also. So different examples we'll discuss, like how we will develop and what is the use of these in the real time project environment. How we will use these concepts. Like so, those are all those things we are going to discuss in our classes. So we are just giving a topic introduction here. No need to panic anything. Like if you have any questions after the session, also we can discuss. Okay. So access specifiers, keywords, data types, variables, reading the data from the Excel sheet, reading the data from the properties file, and connecting to the database, JDBC related things, and arrays and collection framework are that's a different topic. So which is related to data storing, like how we are storing by using a programming language, how we are storing the data in the form of arrays and collections. We store the data. So this is very important topic in entire our core Java session, because this is we are going to use in the real time Selenium scripts development. We are going to use these things. All these concepts also will use, but this will be mainly we will use like whenever we are reading the data from a multiple sets. There we are going to use this collection framework thing. Okay, string handling functions, conditional statements, loops, if else condition. Means these conditional statements why we use in the programming language, why we require the conditional statements. Means if you want to validate any conditions in your program, we are going to use this if else condition, loops, for loops, while loop, do while loop. These things we are going to use. Okay, so as part of that, we will going to cover these conditional statements and how to write your own user defined methods. Like this is the main topic. Like so whenever you are developing any Selenium script or anything, like any program you are developing in Java, so what you are going to do is you will develop a methods, like specific methods you will develop. So based upon your requirement and the purpose, to fulfill your requirement purpose, you will develop your user defined functions. And there will be two types of methods in entire Java. One is library methods, like whatever the language developers are developed and providing the language library, those things will be there. And one more thing, like whoever the programmer is writing, like as part of his requirement, he's developing some user defined functions. So this is one of the type, and library functions is one of the type. Like so by using the library functions, you can develop your own Java methods to fulfill your requirements. And exception handling, like as part of developing your script, as part of developing your program, if you are facing any errors or exceptions, to handle those exceptions in Java, we have some predefined exceptions concepts are there. So those exceptions we are going to use, and you will also develop Predefined exception messages also you will develop, and whenever your script is required, those things you will pass inside that methods. Okay. So we are going to discuss handling the dates in the Java. Like, so in any application, we will provide the inputs. Like, suppose there is an application is there. Assume that banking application is there. So I want this current 6 months balance sheet. I want current 6 months balance sheet of my account. So how can I retrieve that data? So from which date to which date I wanted that information, I will provide like input dates I will provide, right? So as an input, you are providing the dates means, so how you are handling by using the Java. So how you are going to handle it. So what kind of functions you need to call, if you want to print the dates, if you want to use the dates inside your scripts. So what kind of methods you need to call, what kind of library you required, what kind of jar files you required for this. So those things we are going to discuss, and we'll discuss a real-time example also, how to retrieve data from so and so date to so and so date. And if it is an input, if you want to file, if you want to send out any date to the any application, for example, we discussed it just now, banking application related thing, right? So I want current 6 months bank statement I required, right? So as part of in that example, we need to provide two input dates. One is from and another one is to. Like from which date to from which date you require the bank statement. That inputs you have to provide, right? So how you are sending this data to that application, the real-time application, by using your Selenium script. Those things we are going to discuss. Like if it is any string format data, any normal data, if you are sending, like if you are sending username password to the application. For example, our application is there. For example, consider Facebook application is there. If you want to log into the Facebook, what you have to send the basic information is username and password. Through the script we will send, and click on submit button. You will log into the Facebook homepage. So if you want to fulfill this, you are sending the two strings. One is password, one is username. So that is in string format. If you want to send the dates, like I want my current 6 months bank statement, where we can get all the data, like how many transactions I done in that 6 months. I will get all the information to my email as part of a report. So for that purpose, I need to send out these from and to details, right? So this is the main, like whenever you are retrieving or whenever you are fetching the data from the databases, like at part of time, in that part of time, this is a crucial thing. So that's the reason I'm stressing on this topic. Like, so it's a demo session. We will discuss every topic in detail. Don't need to panic anything. Still, if you have any questions, we can discuss further. Like, so this is related to what we are going to cover in our Java syllabus. These are all the topics like which we are going to cover. Okay. And next, what are the selenium concepts we are going to discuss? Here we'll see. Yeah. So this is the selenium topics which we are going to discuss. So basically, selenium is a tool. It's an open source tool where it will provide to automate the web applications. So there are few limitations are also there. So those are also we'll discuss. And why we are going for the selenium, more people are going into the selenium, and the complete market is swinging around the selenium only. Why? What is the main reason is, so it's an open source tool, there is no license fee. Okay, there is a qtp is there, uft is there. So they are charging around 6 lakhs, I think. So they are charging the money for this thing, like to provide a support from the application they are charging. So it's a HP product. So they are charging so much money, but Selenium people are not charging anything. It's an open source. That's the reason complete market open source tools they are using. So always business people think in that way. ROI format they will think like return on investment. I'm investing today. I'm investing some 10 lakhs rupees means I will. They will expect, the business people will think like that. They will expect we will, at least we should get more than 10 lakhs. We are investing 10 lakhs means at least we should get 15 lakhs, at least we should get 20 lakhs on that product line. If any of the thing, like any of the resource, If they hired any human resource, they will think like that only. If they paid for any software license, they will think like that only. Like business mind is like always they will think profit oriented. That is the reason they are going for the Selenium tool, and it's an open source tool. That's the reason they are going for this Selenium tool. Why is a Java? Like Selenium will support other languages also, Python, C Sharp, Ruby. So there are so many languages are available, but most of the programmers, like most of the people all over the world, are using Selenium with Java. So that's where Java programmers are more in the market. That's the reason Selenium Java is famous because of that. That is that is the reason it is in the demand. Like because Java programmers we can hire the Java programmers, development people we can hire, we can train the Selenium tool, and we can put it into the project, we can place it into them into the project, and we can run the show. They are thinking in that way. That's the reason Java programmers are coming in the market. They are available on the cheap rates. So that's the reason they are main because for main focus is, that's the reason why they went for the Selenium thing, Selenium Java thing. So here, what are the topics we are going to cover here is setup of the Selenium environment and Firebug, Firepath for the Firefox browser and ChromePath for the Chrome browser. So why we required Firebug and Firepath and ChromePath? So generally, so if you go to any website, so for example, we'll take Amazon.com here. So this is the Amazon India homepage. For example, if you want to automate this website, so before we are going to in depth into these things, first we will discuss what is the purpose of the automation generally. In general scenario and in general business people view, what is the purpose of this automation here is, so for example, consider this SDLC model, software development lifecycle model. So there what they will do, if you want to develop any software, we'll explain first SDLC thing. So here, by using the SDLC, they will develop a software. So SDLC is basically software development lifecycle. So here what they will consider here is, first they will analyze the requirements and they will gather the requirements from the clients. Then they will design it. Then afterwards they will start development. They will design a system. Then afterwards they will start developmenting. Once the development is completed, they will send out all that application file to the testing people. Testing people will test it, and they will report any bugs are there, any leakages, any data leakages, any security issues are found in the system. They will report it to the dev team, and dev team will accept those bugs and they will fix it. And further, after fixing everything, they will release the software to the deployment. Once the deployment is done, application is up and available to the end users. So that application which we are going to access now here, so that is the application which we are going to accessing now. So Amazon is an e-commerce website here. So which is already deployed in the system and available for the end users. So we are the end users which we are using this application. So if you want to automate this application, we require an open source tool and one programming language. What is the open source tool which we are using here is Selenium is an open source tool, and the programming language is Java. So if you want to automate this application, what you have to do, the first thing is you have to identify these elements. Why you are identifying these elements means you have to perform some operation on this. Like I want to enter some such thing, like I want to buy a Samsung TV. So that's the reason I'm giving an input. Or else Samsung phone I want to find out. I want to buy. So I'm giving an input to this. So as an end user, I'm just typing by using the keyboard. If I want to automate this thing, so I need to send the data through the program. So for that purpose, we are developing our Selenium script. Just a minute. Someone is waiting in the lobby.
Yeah, accept చేశాను.
Yeah, yeah, we continue. So here what we are discussing here is, so if I want to enter some data to this application, I may entering by using this using the keyboard. I'm entering some data. If I want to perform some click operations on this website, I'm I'm using mouse for this. So I want to operate this entire application by using a program. So that is what nothing but an automation. So why this automation is required? What is the purpose? So, for example, consider this is the application which we are going to test in our. We are working for a project. Consider like we are all working for the Infosys. We are working for the Infosys company, and there is a project came. Amazon project came to the Infosys. So they have given for the testing, like our development is completed. So please consider this as a main request. Please test it and provide the issues. If you any issues, if you reported, please send out us. We will fix it by using our developers. They told us. So Infosys taken this project and they hired some manual testers and they given this project to them. And manual testers are came into the picture. They have start writing the test cases in the Excel sheet. After preparing the Excel sheet, they start executing the manual test cases on the this application. So here, what is the limitation? Suppose they have developed some 1,000 test cases. There are 5 member team, 10 members team is there. 1,000 test cases are there. So each guy is executing 100 scenarios for 2 days. They are taking the 2 days time. Every day 50 scenarios, 50 test cases they are executing. So how many days it will take to complete this complete overall 1,000 test cases execution? So every guy is taking 2 days of time, which 10 into 100, 1,000 scenarios we will complete. So 10 guys are there, everybody is taking 2 days. 10 into 2, 20 days. Within 20 days, we can execute the 1,000 scenarios. But I don't have that much time. I want to execute within within 1 day, or else within 2 days of time. I want to execute all the 1,000 scenarios. I don't want to pay for 20 days or 30 days. I don't want to pay for these 10 members or else 15 members. If I want to complete these scenarios within 10 days means I will hire 10 more manual testers here. So the 20 manual testers will complete within 10 days the given work. But the problem is here I need to pay for the 20 manual testers. So as a business person, I don't want to pay for these 20 people, and I don't want to, because if you are paying for everybody as 30,000 rupees as salary for 1 month, 30 into 20, so it will be around 6 lakhs rupees. So I don't want to spend, yeah. So I don't want to spend this much of money, and I don't want to bear this 20 systems cost also. Like if you want to execute this um, these 1,000 scenarios means you require 20 systems also you required and 20 people also you required, and you need to pay to the 20 people and 20 systems you have to pay. So this entire cost I don't want to bear. So as an Infosys manager, how he thinks like he want to save the complete money related to the project. He will he want to save as much as within the low budget he want to complete his project. Then only he can answerable to his superiors like, so this is the cost of the project, original cost, but I reduced this much cost by using these many things, these many scenarios, these strategies I followed. I reduced this much cost. He can convince his superior people. Then only superior people will, they will see the profits. Otherwise, they can't run the show, right? So why automation is required here? So if I hire some five automation people or else two automation people, I will hire and I will development a framework by using one open source tool and open source programming language Java. So both are open source, right? So no need to pay any license cost here, any language related cost also we don't need to bear. So here, if they develop any framework within a month of time, if they develop every time if I want to execute some regression scenarios of these 1,000 test cases on that application, I no need to pay for the 20 manual testers and no need to pay for the 20 systems. If I develop a framework, solid framework for automation thing, if every scenario, all the scenarios are if it is covering all the scenarios, then I will put one tester, one automation tester there, and he will execute all the 1,000 scenarios within 1 day or 2 days. Like execution time will take, right? So 20 days work and 20 people work we are covering into 1 day and by using one guy. So I need to pay for only one system and one person only, or else two people or two systems. So here we can reduce 18 systems cost, 18 people salary we can cut down here. So this is the ROI which our manager is going to expect and client people also expect. Like if they included in this, like the client is Amazon here and our company is Infosys here. I'm just taking a generalized example here. So if the project budget is also less and we are completing with the less budget also means, if the second project other projects are there, that projects also will get from the clients. So that is the reason, main thing why they are expecting the ROI. Like where our automation is helping to the business people is, we are saving their lot of time and money and budget. Like at the end of the day we are providing so much of ROI to them. Like if your automation scripts are taking 25 days of time and manual execution is taking only 20 days of time, means no manager or no client or no company is going to accept those things. So it is our responsibility as a test, as a automation engineer, we need to take care of the scripts, we need to develop the scripts, and whatever the changes comes in the application, according to that we need to modify our scripts and we need to maintain our scripts. And it should take the execution time also less. Means if you want to execute that 1,000 scenarios, if you are taking some 20 days of time, some 20 days of time if you are taking manually, if you are automating that, you are taking around 1 month time to automate those scenarios. But after automation, if you are executing it within 1 day, if you are executing all these things, or else 2 days time if you are executing all these things, that is fine. But if you are taking some manual scenarios are taking to execute, time taking is 20 days, and if you want to execute automation scenarios is 25 days or 30 days, means no manager is going to accept those kind of suits or automation projects. No manager is going to accept. This is the reality. That's where we are living in our projects. Like so, our way always business people will expect, and that is the reason automation came into the picture here. So, as part of our Selenium learning, so what we are going to discuss, we are going to see. So, Firebug and Firepath is a tool where you can go. We are going to identify the XPath of the elements. Why you want to identify the XPath of the element here is, so I want to send some information, some data to this as an input to the this text box. I want to click on this mobile's link. I want to see what are the today's deals available. So these are all the elements in the web application, right? So these elements, if you want to identify these things, what you required here is the locators you required here. So what are the locators here? Locators concept we'll discuss later. So here what is Firebug and Firepath ProPath here is, so those are the helping tools like plugins for the Firefox and Chrome browser to identify the XPath, to identify the locators of this application. We are going to use those tools, right? That's where we are going to use Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and different types of locators, and how we are writing a dynamic XPath dynamically. Those things we are going to discuss, and then sending the data to the application. So how you are sending a data to your web page or web application, that we are going to discuss. Like if you want to send some information to your application, so what are the methods available inside the Java, those things we are going to discuss. Like, okay, just 1 second. Yeah, just connected the charger. So here these are the topics which we are going to discuss in our class. So sending the data to the application, like, so this is the operation where we can send the data to the application. So there is a send keys method available in the Selenium. So that method we will call to send some data to this, like any string or any format of data you want to send to the application, we will call the send keys function here. So in detail about every topic, and we'll discuss in the further classes. And also we'll provide, after every class we'll provide an assignment. If you are facing any difficulty to complete that assignment, we will guide you on that part. Okay. So cross browser testing means if you want to execute your all the scenarios, all the automation scenarios, if you want to execute across all the browsers, like different browsers, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, those things also we are going to discuss. And Selenium Grid is like parallel execution purpose. If you want to execute all your scripts in a multiple systems in a single time, within a within the same time, for that purpose we are going to use Selenium Grid. Okay, these are all the main major topics which are available in Selenium. And different operators like single click, double click, right click. Like if you want to do an application, if you want to perform a right click operation or else double click operation, how you are going to do those things, like those things we are going to discuss. And alerts, drop down values, mouse over events, tool tips, verifications and validations, assertions, handling the tables in the web page, handling the multiple windows. Like if I open multiple windows here, suppose this is a new tab here, like drag like this, we open multiple windows, right? If if I am opening my application in a multiple windows, how I am going to test? Those things also we are going to discuss. And JavaScript executor, adding the report to our framework. Like generally we will use extend reports. Most of the projects we are going to use extend reports. Like what is the reporting purpose is, like how many scripts are failed, how many scripts are passed, and what are the failure scripts, what are the reasons, to analyze these things. And we will include the screenshots also why it is failed, those things. Like that, if you do not have any automation execution report for your framework is ineligible, because as a automation engineer you are executed some 100 scripts you are executed, but how many scripts are failed, how many scripts are passed, we don't know. And what is the failure reason also we cannot able to analysis. Means you do not have any automation execution report for your framework. So if you cannot provide such kind of data to the business people or else client people, then your framework is incomplete. That is the reason we are going to use some reporting tool. Here, what is the reporting tool which we are going to use here is extend reports tool is we are going to use here. How to add our extend reports to the framework, those things we are going to cover here. Okay. If any real-time framework, how a real-time framework works, and if you go to any organization, how they will maintain a framework. So the real-time framework development and strategies and design patterns we are going to discuss as part of our course. Okay, generally I will provide a BDD framework, so which is a hot cake in the market as of now. So testing is a framework where we are going to develop, where we are going to follow the testing format here. what is the purpose of the test engine, why, where we will use the Selenium, in the Selenium where we will use, and what are the advantages over the JUnit. So these are all the topics are which is very new to you people. Like you people are working in the manual thing. Maybe you know, maybe you know a few concepts, but no need to panic. We'll explain everything in our sessions. Like so, these are the advantages of the TestNG, creating a new TestNG file and checking the reports created by the TestNG. These are all everything we are going to discuss here. Multiple test cases, how we are going to execute the TestNG by using the parameters concept. So these are all the things which we are going to discuss. Okay. So this is the one of the tool, one of the build management tool. Maven is the one of the build management tool. And what is the purpose of the Maven? Here we are going to discuss. So Maven is a build management tool. What it is going to do here is, so as an automation engineer, I developed one project here, and there are so many dependency files like my Excel sheet is there, some jar files are there, some other input files, property files are there, some other files are there, some images are there related to my project. These are all related to my project related stuff only, but these are all the dependencies and some jar files also there. So these are all the dependencies. When I am sharing with my client or with my any of the programmer, I am sharing my project. Like consider this is my project. So my project file is this. This one is my project file, and these are all the other things are dependencies. So if I am sharing this single project file without these dependencies, will they able to execute this project? No, right? So if they want to execute in their systems, I need to share complete dependency files. What are dependency files means? Supporting files for this application. So if they want to execute this project on their machines, these are all the supporting libraries, supporting functions, supporting files. Without these supporting files, he cannot able to execute in their systems. They cannot able to execute in their systems. That is the reason. So to accommodate this requirement, here our tool Maven came into the picture here. Initial days we are using Ant, now we are using Gradle also, Maven also. The purpose is same. We will have in the Maven tool we have Maven commands installation and Maven lifecycle will be there. Maven project creation, how we will create a Maven project, and what is the importance of this form.xml file and what is the purpose. Without this file, can we manage this Maven? No. So where you can provide all your dependency file details inside this application, all your project related plugins, dependencies, any files, those information you will maintain in the prom.xml file. Okay. And how to add dependency files to your Maven project. Those things also we are going to discuss. Maven plugins, project execution, and importing, exporting to the other locations. Like you are staying in a remote location, like I'm staying currently in my village. So I want to send out this project to the US people. So how you will do it? So you will export your project by using the Maven. Okay. It will generate an export file that you can send it over the mail or any of the medium. So that's where the project is going to export it. After they are receiving the project, what they will do? They will import the complete Maven project. This is a process generally. So without this Maven thing, you cannot able to share all your project related dependency files at one time. Okay. So once I receive a Maven project, if I start importing, automatically it will download all the jar files related to my project list. So that is the main purpose here. The Maven main purpose is here. What are the plugins we are going to use inside the Maven? Those things we are going to discuss. And what is the life cycle of the Maven build management tool? Those things we are going to discuss. And Eclipse installation, how we will create a workspace. All these things we are going to discuss as part of the Maven team. So the next concept which we are going to discuss here is BDD framework. So what is the main purpose of the framework? Like, so a framework is a typical method of practice. Like suppose In my automation team, there are 10 members are there, 10 programmers are there, 10 automation engineers are there. Every day they are writing code, they are developing the code, but they do not have any specific format. They are writing inside the some text files they are writing, and they are saving into their systems, and they are going back to their home. And one fine day, after 6 months, one fine day, if I want to accommodate my project into one single architecture, it is impossible to do that, right? Every day one programmer is developing one file, or else two files they are developing, two programs they are writing. They are saving to different locations, different files. So after 6 months, if they developed 120 files, everybody is developing two files per day, means 120 files we will get, means 120 files into 10 automation engineers. So how many files it will generate? 120 into some 20 automation engines, means you need to search for 1200 files. You need to accommodate all the methods, all the functions related to that application, which are related to your application. You need to accommodate everything into one place. So is that possible task? No, right? So to avoid these kind of problems, we will follow a typical architecture. So where you have to place your objects, where you have to place your all the dependency related code, where you will place, how you are developing a code, like page wise you are developing page object model pattern you are following or not. These things coming to the picture. To avoid these things, we came into the picture like framework. A framework is a typical architecture where you will write all your programs in an order. So if I wanted some login page related scenarios are there, so I will create login page dot java one file. There only I will develop all the login page related methods. I will place into that only, like all the methods and as well as the objects, whatever the objects by you identified by using the xpath thing, there only you will place it. So that is where the page object model came into the picture, and the framework also came into the picture. Here, why people are stressing about this BDD framework here? What is BDD generally? BDD is a behavior driven development approach. So why I required BDD? Why can't I do it in the normal frameworks? Because so clients also eager to know what is going on in our automation scenarios, what is going on. They want to know, they have some curiosity, they want to also know what is on a high level, what our script is doing, they want to know those things. So that is the reason, as per client suggestions, as per the business people requirement, the BDD framework came into the picture. Where BDD framework is looks like this: feature files they will have, or else they will maintain dot story files. To achieve the BDD framework, we have two different tools. One is the tool Cucumber, the other tool is this one. Story files will be there. So dot story files, feature files. There are two different file formats are there. You can use both different tools. So here mainly we are focusing about Cucumber as a main tool here, which we are going to use. There we have feature files. In a feature file, how a feature file is looking, and in a feature file, what we are going to maintain here is we are going to maintain whatever text script is doing. On a high level, we are maintaining some data here, information. I am logging to the so and so Facebook application. I am entering username and password, and I click on the login button. Suppose this is considered, this is the story. So if
Hari,
you yeah, hello.
sharing anything? Because I can see only your desktop. I don't know about others.
Yeah, I'm not sharing anything. Right now I'm
Okay.
sharing the PPT. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming to the BDD framework, what they want to know is on a high level, what your text script is doing, they want to know. That is the reason they came into the BDD framework came into the picture. If I show the direct Java code to any any business people, they can't understand my Java programming code because they don't know the Java, so they can't understand direct code. So if I place a feature file in front of them, then they can understand. It is in a Gherkin language. We will develop. It is looks like a simple English only. If you see any feature file, So if we see that any feature file that looks like a simple English only, so they can read and they can understand that feature file. And in the BDD framework, what is scenario? Scenario outline, how we will read the data by using the BDD framework, how we will develop the runner classes, step definition files, Cucumber options, page object model. So these are all the interlinked concepts which is related to your BDD framework. As part of this BDD framework development, we are going to discuss all these scenarios, all those things. So now all the terminologies are too different for you people. Just the main main thing is business people wanted to know what your test script is doing. So they want to know that thing. That's the reason the BDD framework came into the picture. As of now, you can remember these things. We'll discuss further more and more about the BDD framework. So the next tool is CI/CD or Git. Yeah, Git. So, what is the purpose of your Git here? Git is a centralized repository where you can store all your code. Okay. So, consider our example, whatever we are discussing, that example is there, right? We have 10 automation testers. Everybody is developing the code, they are storing into some different locations. Everybody developing the two files. After 6 months, it is 120 files. Okay, to accommodate those things. 120 files into 10 people. So total 1200 files you will get. So if you are not storing in a centralized location, you cannot interlink those files and you cannot run your project. So that's where the requirement came here. Everybody is committing the code to one central location. That is one of the tool which we are going to use here is Git. There are so many open source centralized repositories available inside the market. Those are Bitbucket, and Team Factory, and this one Git. So here we are going to discuss inside our classes. We are going to discuss Git about Git. We are going to discuss. So repository creation, import, how we are importing the project from Git operations, fetching the code from Git, committing the code to the Git commands. The purpose you understood, right? Like the Git purpose. So you have to store your code into one complete shared location. So that everybody can access every day. Like everybody can take the code, updated code every day, and they will work on it, and they will commit the new code to the specific locations. If meeting is going to end within 5 minutes, we'll reconnect again. Okay. I'm getting a pop-up here. It will allow till up to 45 minutes only. Once the meeting
Okay.
is going to end, we'll reconnect again in the same link. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So the general purpose of your Git here is to maintain your code at a centralized location. It will be accessible to everyone, like whoever are working on the project. For those people, it will be accessible to everybody, including your manager also. We will have some URL here. That for that URL, you need to provide your username and password to log into the Git. And if you want to fetch the code, you need to execute some commands. So if you don't want to execute some commands, you have some graphical GUI options also available like this. So if you go to Eclipse, it's already open. It is already open. So I will show you the basically how a feature file is looking like. So generally you will have here is yeah. So how a feature file is looking like here is we will say dot feature file. So a typical feature file is looks like this. If you see here. So if you don't know Java, if you don't know Selenium, no need to bother. You can directly understand. The business people can directly understand what our test case is doing here. So if you see here, given user is already logged in, title of the login page is verified, username and password is entered. Click on the login button and home page is the user is on home page. User moves to the new contact page. User enters the contact details, first name and last name, and close the browser. So if you do not have any technical knowledge also, what our test script is doing, we are going to understand by reading this simple Gherkin language file, feature file. So it looks like simple English only, right? So that's the reason the BDD framework came into the picture. Inside this every step, there is a Java method we will call inside this every step. So that we are going to discuss whenever we are developing the framework, that we are going to discuss later. But a typical feature file is looks like this. Okay, this is the example for a feature file in the BDD framework. And if you want to commit your code to Git, here is right click you have to do. The Git is interlinked with your project. You will see the some Git options here like team, commit, push, pull. These are all the options. Like, so whenever we are doing those operations, whenever we are discussing about Git, we'll discuss in-depth operations related thing. We'll discuss that. So now committing the code, Git commits is over. Like the next topic is we are going to discuss here is CI/CD tools. So if you want to execute your projects from a remote location server continuously, like CI/CD is a process where you can like continuous development and continuous integration. Like they have developed some application, they provide a latest build. On the latest build, you want to run your automation suite. So for that purpose, you will maintain this Git URL and you will create a job in the Jenkins, and you will that job also you can share, you can schedule like as an alarm. You can schedule an alarm, right? So same thing, you can schedule a job also. So that job will automatically execute on a particular timeline. If I want to execute my scripts at 9 a.m. in the morning every day, so I can provide that keyword along with the 9 a.m. timing.